was a new thing to me, and it felt like I'd found a new way to worship. My name is Hannah Whiting, I'm 19 years old and I am a theatre student. United Beach Mission stopped coming to Scarborough, and it sort of left a bit of a hole, a bit of a gap. The Fresh Expressions team decided that it would be a good thing to bring back a beach mission, but to involve the young people instead. Instead of just taking, young people giving back and learning how to lead and learning how to share things with their community. I sort of got involved in that. We start every day with a huge tug of war. We've got a ginormous rope where we get all families involved, and then once you've got people, it's a programme of this and this and this and this, keeping the challenge of making it accessible to children, sort of looking at different moral things and situations and self-esteem and that sort of thing instead. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to be involved in. We came up with a character, I can't remember his name, but that my dad played, and he was a superhero. Well, he wasn't really a superhero, he wanted to be a superhero, so he had his cape, his mask and his underpants on the outside, and every day he was trying to do something that he thought would make him a superhero, because our theme song for the week was God's people aren't super brave superheroes. It was all about being yourself and that being good enough. So one day we had him trying to climb a ladder on the beach, and he was, I'm climbing a ladder to the moon because God's in the sky and the moon's in the sky, so that's where I'm going. And it was like, no, God's everywhere. Or no, you don't, in days when he was trying to prove how strong he was, you don't need to be physically strong. God will accept you how you are, or it's okay to be how you are. Again, about 3 years ago, Sam, our Fresh Expressions minister, got in touch with me and told me this idea that she and some others had been having to revive something that I think went on in Scarborough even 30 years ago, but sort of promenade pieces of theatre on Easter morning, helping people to reflect and things on the Easter message. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll get involved, not really knowing what I was doing. I was presented with a monologue that was Mary Magdalene, and I was told that I could change it and adapt it, and it just fit like a glove. It felt absolutely fantastic. For me, it was just a really wonderful experience. It's the most interesting thing I've done, possibly, but it was at the time, because it involved me being sat by myself in just a top and a skirt and bare feet at 5 o'clock in the morning and on Easter morning. It was not the most pleasant feeling, but it was just, I don't know, because being able to bring one of my favourite biblical characters to life and pilot her and feel her, and it helped me. It gave me a whole new level of understanding into the story, but an insight, but also to be able to share that was a really wonderful thing. It truly was. God gifts us all. He gives us all things that he wants us to use for him. Something I seem to have is theatre, and you get so frustrated in theatre because so much of it just feels so empty and so showy, but to be able to use, I really felt for the first time that I was using what he's given me, to giving it back to him, and to be able to use it for what I believe he wants me to use it for. It was just, and I really believe that we've all got stuff in us, and it's just finding ways, saying, God, how do you want me to use this? But I do feel like when I did that first Rising of the Sun, that first mystery play, it was a new thing to me, and it felt like I'd found a new way to worship. Using something that is so at my core and so a part of me, and being able to use that, to give that to God and to connect with God in that way, that for me was huge, and it's a thing that I want to keep doing.